about Bella. I told her. I was like, tell Bella to leave the conversation.
Say we're going to watch some of the video footage that the students have created
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jennifer Lezek with the Adult Services Department here, and on behalf of everyone at the Chicago Public Library, welcome. We want to especially welcome you in 2023 as the library celebrates our 150th anniversary year. So thank you so much for your support of the library. We have lots of events happening this year and digital content and all kinds of cool photos on our website, so check it out at chipublib.org/150. Tonight's event is part of the One Book, One Chicago program, and this year we're celebrating There There by Tommy Orange and Native Voices. I want to thank our partners with the American Indian Association of Illinois, who have been so helpful this season with providing so many wonderful programs, including tonight's program. This event is being streamed on CPL's YouTube and Facebook channels, and it will be available for on-demand viewing immediately after the program. We will take some questions from the microphone at the end of the program. We ask you to come down there so that the people in the audience can hear the questions, especially our virtual viewers. And our virtual viewers, please put your questions in the chat, and we will relay them at the end of the discussion. Tonight, I'm so pleased to welcome the Native Media Dream Team, Chicago's very own Native youth filmmakers. We're going to see some of their films, and then we're going to hear from them. And it's really exciting to host these filmmakers of tomorrow. And you get the sneak peek today of what tomorrow's famous filmmakers are going to be. So thank you so much for being here. And now we're going to show the film.
Hi, my name is Eric Cloud, and I'm here with Cloud Live News to give you a special report on the remains of the 215 Native children found in Canada's largest residential school. The city is called Kamloops in southern British Columbia, where the remains of 215 children were found. The preliminary findings are believed to be children as young as 3. The full report will be made available mid-June, according to BBC News. What is a residential school, you might ask? The Department of Indian Affairs of the Canadian government, which was administered by Christian churches, forced assimilation to the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. These residential schools operated between 1874 to 1996. Gordon's Indian Residential School in Saskatchewan being the last to close. What was the purpose of these schools, you might ask? The purpose was to remove Indigenous children from their homes in hopes they would abandon their native languages and cultures and speak English or French and practice Christianity. Chief Belgardi said if it was our government policy to get rid of the Indian and the child.
My name is Jalen Cecita.
Hi, my name is Genevieve Cecita.
We live in Chicago, Illinois, and we're going to be interviewing ourselves about what's it like living in Chicago today. What's it like living in Chicago today for you?
It is very nice and warm, but some days are cold. You have to wear a mask to stores and public places. I don't see my family, friends as much, and everything doesn't feel the same in Chicago anymore.
I agree.
What is it like living in Chicago today for you?
So for me, Chicago has bipolar weather. Since the pandemic started, everything has been so chaotic with putting on a mask on, social distancing, and putting hand sanitizer on all the time. And students are getting their education through online instead of in person. And nothing is the same in Chicago anymore. Thank you for listening to our interview.
Hi, I'm Evian and I'm here with
Melanie.
I have a question for you. So, who was your favorite musical artist while growing up?
Oh, I had a lot of them. My favorite musical artist growing up, though, had to be Tupac, just because I felt his music and I related a lot to it. But now, as I'm older, I listen to a lot of different musical artists. At the moment, right now, my favorite is country. So my favorite musical artist has to be Luke Bryan, because he's on top. He's badass. I mean, well, should I not said that? But he's good. He's really, really good.
And why do you like country music?
I didn't like country music to top it off at first. I did listen to Johnny Cash when I was younger with my aunties and uncles and stuff like that, but country, I was introduced to country like 7 years ago when the new country station came to Chicago. And just from there, I've always liked country. I went to country concerts. I went to took my youngest son Eric with me to go see Luke Bryan. We've seen Luke Bryan, Sam Hunt, and a bunch of other guests that were there. But yeah, I really like country music now. Go figure.
My name is Eric Cloud, and I'm part of the Native Scholars Media Team, and I'm joined with Melanie Cloud from the American Indian Association of Illinois, which is AIAI for short. And I have just one question for you, Melanie. How did you get involved with AIAI?
Oh, that's a long story. I don't know if we have enough time for that. I was there when AIAI first originated in 2007. It began as a nonprofit organization dealing with education. I am director of education there. We had affiliated with Eastern Illinois University to start a college degree program without walls for our Native students. But in 2009, we started a Native Scholars After School program, and that's where we are right now. So we are actually doing work with our younger students, our younger Native American kids, and teaching them a little bit about cultural history, because it's not taught in public schools here in the city.
From 2005 to 2015, AIAI and NACE collaborated with Eastern Illinois University and conducted the Medicine Shield College program, graduating over 40 students with BA degrees, including Melanie Cloud and Carlos Panessa.
I've been coming to Native Scholars for about like 7 years. I first came to Native Scholars when I was 5. And when I first joined Native Scholars, I was a bit nervous because there's many people there and I was kind of shy at the time, but now I'm very outgoing.
My name is Genry Cecita. I am 11 years old. I am Ho-Chuk in Winnebago. I made these cookies today, and in the video that I provide to you, you will see the ingredients and what equipment I've used.
Hold on.
Hi, I'm Bella Perez,
And I'm Cici Perez, and we're from Leash Lake Ojibwe.
and we made tuna casserole.
The video that we made earlier, we showed you how we made it and what ingredients we used.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Marty.
This is all going to you guys, and it's all gonna fit in this bowl. Just advise you to eat it warm because it's good. They make fun of me when if we have it for dinner. They make fun of me for putting it in the microwave and heating up really good. They say it's gross. I say it's good.
This is my famous tuna casserole. Better eat it.
What do you suggest we use to eat it with? Like,
You could put it on like toast, ice cream maybe if you want.
Hello, my name is Eric. I'm part of the Native Scholars Media team. I'm Ojibwe from Leech Lake, Minnesota, and today I made grilled cheese.
I'm making blanket dogs, and this is the ingredients I'm using.
hi, my name is Melanie Cloud, and this is Native Chicago.
Hi, my name is Evan Cloud, and this is Native Chicago.
School is different now because people are acting way more differently. The pandemic has changed lots of kids' mental health.
When there was the pandemic, you had to do online school, and most people didn't go. But now you gotta go to school like 8 hours, and I feel like people still don't want to do school because of like the pandemic and stuff. Because it like affected like how you learn and like how people teach.
Okay, so my take on this is that first off, let's get the obvious out. People like the kids now, they have more social anxiety, right? They're scared to speak in public, like in large crowds, right? Because they have social anxiety. There's no masks. People still wear masks at my school because they're insecure about how they look, or they don't want to catch COVID. I don't judge, I just think they're insecure. That's my take. I feel like in the pandemic, you were like myself. I lost myself, right? I gained a lot of weight, and then I feel like now after the pandemic, I feel like my outlook on life has really changed. I feel like I value my life much more.
School now, I feel like more people, they used to wear masks, but now they don't, because when the pandemic started, people were scared that they would get COVID because a bunch of people would think that they would die because of it, because there was no vaccine. But now they don't wear masks anymore, but some people do. But it's just pretty much the same. But
teachers could care about more children's mental health. I feel like they think differently now from like how kids should usually think, and teachers, they don't care no more. They don't really care. I feel like understanding and like listening to people would help a lot.
Hi, my name is Lauren Perez and this is Native Chicago.
I started beading, I would say about 8 years old. I started learning how. I was here in Chicago and they had like little beading sessions, and I would sit there, and then my dad, he decided to buy me some beads, which were the big ones like hers, and that's how I started learning how to make stuff. My first was the daisy chains, and then just to get a feel of how to make designs out of stuff. And then once that was done, then I kind of started self-teaching and kept practicing. Give it a nice tug.
Testing, testing. Testing, testing. There you go. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. This project has been a long time in the making, years. You can see the COVID, a lot of shots had COVID masks. People were a lot shorter then. They were in different grades. They were different. I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves. You want to grab your mic and turn it on, or I think you can have this one. So we'll start there. There's a little button that goes up and down on that.
Hi. Wait.
Checking. Check.
Checking. Okay. Hi. My name is Genevieve Cecita. I am Winnebago and Ho-Chunk.
My name is Cece Perez, and I am Leech Lake Ojibwe from Minnesota.
My name is Eric Cloud. I am Ojibwe from Leech Lake, Minnesota, and I'm 16 years of age.
I'm Bella. I'm Leech Lake Ojibwe from Minnesota, and I'm 13.
Kelly Cecita. I'm Winnebago, Ho-Chunk, and I'm 17 years old.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, this project, as I said, has been years in the making. It really has, it goes really back to almost to my childhood when I was a teenager. I wanted to be a filmmaker. And that didn't happen. There were no women filmmakers in the 1970s when I studied film here in Chicago. And at that time, it was 16 millimeter film where the camera weighed close to 70 pounds. So that was, kind of fast, and no one really understood media in the 60s and 70s. They knew film, it was important, television was important, but it was big money. It cost a lot of money to produce, and so it just were very few people that controlled the media at that time. So kind of fast forward, now we all use media. We all use social media. It's all important to our jobs. We need to know about marketing, about advertising, about developing flyers and graphics. I mean, and we have help with that, again, all through apps and things like that. But then we fast forward to the telephone. And during the pandemic, we all know that the telephone was one of the most important things in our lives. So then I realized that, well, how are we going to continue? All of these kids have been in my after-school program at American Indian Association of Illinois for most of their lives. So that how are we going to continue to keep our programs going during COVID? So with that, we decided, Mel, our Director of Education, and I decided that we could do that on Zoom, and we could do it with telephones. But we would need, we wanted to be prepared to help the kids with their phones if they needed new phones, if they needed money for their phones, and that kind of thing. So we came up with the idea that they would get a stipend for coming to the workshops. So that held up pretty well all during COVID, and then when we were able to finally meet together in person and then actually do things in person. Also, all of these kids up here, along with other ones, are in our dance company. We have a dance company called the Blackhawk Performance Company, and you saw some of that. And you saw some of the artists that come out, other artists that come out and perform with us, that create the beadwork and the applique work and all the artwork that goes into it. So this was the first year, though, that we had an opportunity for the kids to actually meet with our beadwork artist and to learn something about beading. And before some of their parents had helped them with their regalia and all of that. So it's been quite a journey. And now it's come to fruition that all these things are combined. The video creation, the music, the dance, the art. And so they've been around this all through their entire school careers, and many of them, their parents have been involved in powwow, their grandparents. Some of the kids here, their grandparents used to dance and for the Chicago American Indian Center. So this has been ongoing for from myself and Melanie, Frank, other people in the audience that are the parents and grandparents of the students that are here. So we're so happy that it's continuing. And so, and through documenting some of that in media, it will continue. I have to give a shout out to our filmmaker, Julia Pella, who has been with us every step of the way in this. She's a professional. So while we were taking videos with phones, and she was taking some professional footage or teaching the kids about how to use professional cameras, about how to do sound, and all of that, photographs. A lot of things that aren't in here are the photographs that the kids took during COVID, and they were photographs of their pets and their grandmas and their dads and their their homework. So if you can imagine, it was like photographs of what kids like. I once did a photography exhibit at the Newberry, though, in the 1980s, and it was titled Seeing Indian. And what that meant was that we all have a different view of how we see the world. And so what we look at, what we shoot in a photograph in our everyday lives is important. That says something about you. You know, and so when some kids pick pizza parlors they wanted to shoot pictures of, or they wanted to shoot pictures of, well, I think pets were the favorite. Pets were the favorite of all the photographs that kids took. And then next after that was our cooking videos. And a shout out to Genevieve, who was like a magnificent producer of her cooking show. And we don't see all the footage, but she actually did titles over it. She did her own editing. I mean, it was a fantastic job. And every one of the youth that you see here had a special skill in terms of what they like to do and what they like to look at, and then what they did and who they interviewed. So I'm going to start kind of questioning them. I'm going to throw a question out and then ask everybody maybe to just to comment on it. So first, I'm going to comment on what you thought about interviewing people.
I thought that interviewing people was a really nice opportunity because you get to see other people's perspectives and also their ideas and stuff.
For me, it was kind of nice knowing that how people saw things, how they commented on things, and how they just think. I find that very interesting.
So for me, it was interesting but kind of weird. Like, I have no social, I could talk to people, I have no social anxiety, but when it comes down to asking people, interviewing a person one-on-one, that's when the nerves start coming out, and I feel like throughout the whole process I was able to overcome the nerves and eventually just unleash myself and just something like that.
I thought it was really cool because we got to see everyone's view on one certain topic or on one another.
I thought interviewing people was a nice experience to just see people's thoughts and how they connected to things that I asked questions with.
Great. I remember to speak louder because microphones and I'll pick up the same because we have all different voices. So I want to make sure you speak up so the audience and the online can hear you too. My next question has to do with photography. Now, you've all been doing photography with your cameras for your phones for a long time. What are some of the things you learned and we talked about in terms of photographs and some things you need to watch out for, and what are your favorite things to take pictures of?
I've learned that there's many different things to do on for pictures and stuff, and to make the pictures look better, and but my favorite thing to probably take a picture of is probably my dog, because yeah.
For me, I think it's more about the angles and what you take pictures of, because sometimes you could literally take pictures of anything, you could take pictures of this water bottle, but the camera has to be clear and not blurry, right angle and stuff. Make sure it's inside of it.
For me, I could tell you guys what I like taking pictures of, and if I'm out on my bike and I'm downtown or by the lake, I just like taking pictures of the lake or whatever, just the water, just the buildings downtown, or even just if I'm somewhere at a park, I like taking pictures of the plants and stuff, and of my cat too. My cat Kamir, he's I love him. He's so adorable.
What I've learned is that you have to get the lighting right and the right angle, like she said. What I like taking pictures of the sky and plants and flowers, because I love flowers.
I'm not much of a photographer, but when it comes down to taking pictures and all that, I would take pictures of like the sky or like sunsets because I could go back and edit them and like enhance them more.
In looking at this video today, what did, kind of reflecting back on your experience in doing the video and the photography work and the interviewing work and the cooking show work, what are some of the things that you enjoyed the most?
Some of the things I enjoyed the most is like probably like working with each other and just communicating. Yeah.
I enjoyed mostly just telling people about things because I talk a lot. Like I talk a lot. And so, yeah, I like telling people about things.
Yeah, I could agree on that. But anyways, I enjoyed like making new memories, like building new friendships, like friendships that we didn't like have at the beginning, but like towards the end, we were more like friendly with each other. We talked more, and just like I just overall enjoyed the whole experience. It was like a very new thing to me, and I just liked it overall. So
I really like getting to know each other and like he said, building friendships. But at the end, we got more closer. I didn't know these people, but now I do.
Yeah, with you all saying the same thing, I would say the same thing too with like building connections and just getting to know each other's personalities and perspectives on like life and and like AI and all that.
All right, so that's a lot, and it's a lot. I think when you're a kid, it's hard to remember way in the past too. And so we've covered a lot of ground historically with the kids. So some things might not be fresh, but we did all meet this summer. For some people have on our Media Dream Team T-shirt, kind of like the pictures and the logo on the front. And so we're happy they still have their T-shirt and that. And then this summer we had a leadership program. So some of the other kids are wearing their Native Chicago Leadership Academy shirt that we did this summer. And so we kind of went into, we did the fry bread footage is from making a fry bread, which is a big deal in Indian country. Everyone's supposed to be able to know how to make fry bread, so that was important. And then the earring beading, we had a lot more footage from the beading. And so we weren't able to weave all that in. You can imagine the amount of footage that Julia went through to find the segments that we use. So we're not done, we just have begun the editing. But one of the things that struck us is that early on we decided that people would take different roles. Like one person might ask the question, or so even if someone wasn't, the school question was one of my favorite segments, but then they had their sister, or these people are actually similar, they're related. These two are sisters, and these two are sisters. And then Eric has a sister that couldn't be here tonight with us because she's working, but also that's Eric's mom. So that when they were stuck in COVID, they could interview each other, so without masks on. So that's how that kind of went. And so sometimes they were the interviewers, sometimes they were the camera person, sometimes they were the person that thought up the idea. There's a segment that's not in here where they did a play, and then the people memorized lines and they were in the play. So there were a lot of different roles. So I'm going to ask you, if you think about what would you like to learn more about in terms of all those kinds of things that we did? I'm going to ask you all to kind of comment on that, and that'll help us to figure out what are those things we need to teach in the future.
I would say probably like just like doing like, I don't know, like camera stuff more maybe, or like cooking.
I think we could really focus on how we take the angles, how we could like enhance the pictures and stuff.
Okay, I think everybody should work on just like interviewing, having like when you talk, you're not stuttering, you're talking like with a professional voice, and you're talking loud enough to where everybody could hear. But I feel like we should also just like do more things with the cameras, because we did some things, but we didn't go like fully in depth with them, and I feel like that's something that we should start to do at least. So
After all I've learned with the media team, I think we can work on like talking to each other one-on-one and learning more about each other.
What I think that AIAI could like do is probably fund more like fundraisers or like commit to like more organizations, because during the summer internship program we would go on field trips, like we would go to the Shedd Aquarium or like other field trips that Doreen would help us go to. So I feel like we should commit to more going to like fund more like fundraisers or like gaining money for like our organization.
So more the field trips.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually, our idea was to go and visit people in their workplace, and we did visit some people so that that they could get an idea of what is it like when you have a job. You know, what does you do there? You know, and so I think that, and then we mixed, but then we realized that was kind of boring, so that we had field trips for fun. You know, so we went to Navy Pier, and we went to the water park, and well, I didn't go, but Miss Melanie took them there. That was a hard job this summer. We had never run a 5-week summer camp, and 5 weeks we decided was too long for everybody, but it was a lot of fun, and it gave us a chance to have a lot of speakers who showed us a lot of stuff. We had a beekeeper, we had a storyteller, we had a woman who speaks fluent Lakota. She came and talked to the kids. So these were all things that I wanted them to know about, because there's no way in school, there's no place in school that Native children can learn about any of these topics. So I was like, I had in my mind, there's 100 different things I would like them to learn about, but of course they have things they want to learn about too. It wasn't just the things that I wanted. So we came to a lot of compromises in that, and we compromised on the time. Like they wanted me to get up really early in the morning, and I'm not an early person. And then so yeah, we had to compromise on that, and we compromised on what we would eat. Like I thought they would eat before they came to in the morning. No, they really loved me when I would bring McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. That was a favorite. They'd come, but then they wanted then hash browns. I said that's way over the budget. So the hash browns were way over the budget. But so those are. But another idea we had too was about on the camera. We just got a grant, and we're going to be able to buy our own camera. And a very professional camera. So this year we'll be able to actually get down in terms of looking at how does a camera work really, and what do you need to know about a camera. I just learned last week that it's difficult if you take a camera on an airplane because of the temperature and the moisture, that it can create a problem. So things like that. I had no idea, because the cameras I worked with were quite some time ago, or they were still cameras, or they were camcorders. How many people have had a camcorder in their life, a small video camera, right? And they look so easy to operate, and so they are easy, but you can't get good sound. So we spent actually a lot of time talking about sound, because as Eric said, you don't have anything if you don't have the sound, if you can't hear the person. That's why we all have to work on that. But on the other hand, we're all kind of shy, so it's hard to be the one in front of the camera. Though I would say that they all stepped up. It was hard, and they'd say, okay, we'd say, you're going to talk today about this. You're going to talk about Columbus, or you're going to talk about how would you improve school. That was really hard for them, but they did it, and you can see it really made a difference, because it's honest. That's what we want to see in the world today in film. We want to see people be honest. We're tired of fake news. We actually did segments early on about fake news, about how interpreting the internet, how we have to be aware of what we're doing when we're searching the internet. And there are classes now. In fact, they're going to require them in some public schools in Illinois about social media, because of how there are so many scams and things. So they're going to be teaching teens, and I'm glad for that. But we may have even done it first, and we did it about 2 years ago during the COVID. So that's all important. I guess what I'd like to ask them next is, what kind of projects or what kinds of things would you like to film next?
I would like to probably like film like from what Jalen said, probably like raising money or like going to a place and like trying to raise money for a cause.
I would like to learn more about how to work the camera, because I feel like once we could all do something, you know, we could all become like influencers if we learn how.
Wait, these are the upcoming projects that we want to do? Okay. We could do like serious stuff, but I would like want to do at least one thing to focus into sports or something, because me, I like sports a lot. I like watching basketball, playing basketball, watching soccer, like watching football. So at least something to do with sports. I feel like that would be a fun project. Maybe just for me. I don't know about them, but like I feel like that's one project that we should do. Yeah.
I feel like we should do more fundraisers because they're like really nice.
I would say, yeah, just raising more money for AI, and like another project we could do was probably like recording what like a Native American Indian would go on with, like with their life, like a daily life video of how they live every day. That could be a good idea.
Well, they just reminded me, we did towards the end of our Leadership Academy work towards how we would form how they would form a nonprofit themselves, and then we talked about actually working out how to then we could give money away. People could apply to us, to them, and receive money for community projects. And I think we narrowed it down to projects that had to do with youth and youth helping others, right? Is that what we did? And so that's as far as we got on it. But that's, I think, was that we were going in the right direction. Because I was able to go over them how you form a nonprofit, how someone has to be the officers, and they were all like, officers, you know? And then there were people that stepped out right away and they wanted to be the president, and then people were the bookkeepers, that's an important job, the secretary, keeping the notes. And then we talked about what you can do then when you raise this money, what you can do with it. So these are some, and they wanted to, they had really great ideas of what we could do with money, and I wasn't thinking about it for ourselves, but that's also, we could do, spend some of the money on ourselves. And it's always, as I said, well, this year we'll have a professional camera, and we can continue our project with that, and then they can be working on what are those videos that they would like. So when Eric mentioned sports, I mean, that definitely we could find some people that are sports figures and Native people in the city or non-Native people. So that's important, and everyone, I mean, Chicago's a big town for sports. So I'm sure we can find some opportunities there. They've had in the past some opportunities to go to practice for the Bears, I think, preseason practice for the Bears. And then Blackhawks have been a big team, and that people have, we danced last year for the Blackhawk performance, and so we've gotten some great opportunities, and I hope that those will continue. Now you've seen what you've seen in the video, and what do you think that of what we showed that other kids would most be interested in? Could you hear me?
I think, wait, can you repeat the question, please?
I changed lanes pretty fast there. But in terms of, if you see your friends, let's say, seeing those videos, what do you think they would like to see more or learn more about you or the other people on the panel? If you were going to say, like, what would be a popular movie? Would it be about cooking, about sports, about pets, about being Native American dancing? What do you think other kids your age would like to see filmed?
I think they'll like to see probably cooking, and then also the Native American community. Yeah.
I think they would like for us to see us dance more and learn more about our culture and things.
I think that people my age would be most intrigued by, like, I would say with like the pets, the movies and stuff. I don't know if they would exactly be intrigued in like the native dancing, just because that's how kids are nowadays. But I feel like if I had to pick something, it would be like the pets, the movies, just something to do with the cameras and stuff, and like the interviews maybe. You know, like everybody my age is looking for jobs, so and like learning how to interview somebody would be a great skill to pick up. So you know.
I feel like they would most likely want to watch us get ready to dance and like us show them how we dance as Native Americans.
I think that people would be more interested in like with the beading and jewelry that Native Americans wear when they're dancing, like their jewelry with like the beads and all that, with getting ready, like what Bella said, with like preparing themselves to dance and then afterwards showing all the jewelry out.
Yeah, people are really interested in arts and crafts, so that we could actually do videos of you showing them how that's done, because it was just amazing how in like one morning they all picked up on how to actually make beaded bracelets and necklaces. And it was fast, and they were creative, and they did a great job in terms of color and balance, and it was just truly amazing, and I'm sure that other kids would like to learn that as well. And then on the dancing, we did a little bit. We had a newspaper article, a little bit where we talked about dancing, and we tried to shoot a dance, some footage on it, and it was difficult because we really weren't prepared. We had one of our older dancers, a college student, come and talk to us that day, but we didn't really have time to really explore that, how we were going to do that. And I think I like that idea a lot. And also but Eric he's on track too. It's kind of hard to think of, well, what do I like? And then what would other people like? Because they aren't all the same. Though being teenagers, they know what other kids like. And they like to, what they like to view. And so, and what is entertaining. And especially since TikTok has been out there. Now, have any of you done any TikToks? And tell me about what you did.
For me, I don't really post any TikToks because like I like to kind of like keep private, and I just like don't like making TikToks. So.
Sorry. I have a TikTok. I do post, but not that much. And yeah.
She's lying to you guys.
No. So just tell something that you like to post. We won't go look at her or anything. I don't even know what your name is on TikTok. What's your favorite one that you got the most likes? What was it?
It's like very old. Very old. It was like a trending video, It was it was like lip syncing and stuff.
There was too many for her. She's like a TikTok pop star. No, I'm just joking with her. No, I don't post on TikTok. I just be watching videos.
I do have an account, but I don't post, and I just watch TikTok.
I have an account on TikTok, and I'm just like Cece. I lip sync too. I dance on TikTok too, so I like being on social media. It's fun.
So is that popular, your dancing ones?
Yeah, when it's like trending,
Didn't you used to do gaming ones? Yes, you did. When you were real young, you used to do.
Okay, maybe like 5. I don't remember.
YouTube. No, you were YouTuber. You were YouTuber.
No.
Not you?
Yeah.
You never did any gaming stuff? Because I think that's one thing that in the beginning that we did have to have a question, what is your favorite game, right? Remember that when we had that question? And I was, and because it's a national thing that there aren't very many games, electronic games for girls, but the girls were doing some games at that time, so that was a fleeting interest. But I think in terms of, I've never done a TikTok. I might share one with somebody. So yeah, I'm not good at that at all. But Melanie, who is our director of education, well, she did a little snippet of our dance at the Field Museum. We opened the exhibit there last year, and that got a lot of likes, right? Like how many? It was very popular. It was short. It was exciting, and she had really never done much of that, right? Have you ever had another one with that many likes? And whenever I post these guys' pictures, I always get about close to 200 on Facebook. I'm a big Facebooker. I go out, probably do it every day, and so that's my favorite place to post. Okay, are we to question time? Yeah. Okay, good. Melanie, you wanted to comment?
Can you hear me? Okay, I want to know what is your guys' favorite part of the video?
That's good.
My favorite part of the video was honestly like my cooking part, because like I worked really hard on it, and like like I added all like the titles, and like it took me like almost like an hour to edit it. So yeah.
I think my favorite was also cooking, but my thing wasn't showed, and I don't know why. Oh yeah, I don't know why it wasn't showed. It was so good. It had music and everything.
All right.
Oh yeah, and my name wasn't even in there. In the crest, my name wasn't there.
This is the favorite part? Okay. For the video. Wait, I know. I'm trying to think. Oh, they left out the part where I was making my grilled cheeses. I was there, I was flipping them over, putting the cheese on it. Like, you guys just got that little, 2 seconds of me showing it. Oh, this is my grilled cheese. So, I guess that's got to be my favorite part, though.
I think I liked every part that had me in it because I love myself. Y'all should love yourself too, honestly. But yeah.
I did cook. I did bake something too. I baked some banana bread. So hopefully in the video, bring that up too. Yeah, and get some recognition from me. I know I could be a good baker. So.
All right, questions from the audience.
Yeah, if anybody has a question, if you don't mind coming down here so that everybody can hear it on our stream. And I can start with a question from one of our virtual viewers who says, I'm a teacher and I was interested about your talking about how you included talking about fake news as part of your curriculum with this program. Can you talk about how sometimes media portrayals cause misconceptions about Native people?
We did have a great session from a professor, in fact, Dr. Epplett at Southern Illinois University, and he did a great show for the kids about modern media and what poor representations are still there. And so we did do some talking about that, and we didn't do any films on that though. We didn't have any videos on that topic per se, but that's a really good topic, and that's something that I think will probably end up being covered in some of the school curriculums that they will be involved in.
Hi, my name is Anita, and I have a number of questions or suggestions. First of all, I like that the cooking things were featured. I like to see, because home economics is not something, it used to be part of curriculum in schools, but it is not. And I think it helps a lot to unite people, and I liked that part of it. The gentleman, when you asked for a suggestion of what you would like to maybe work on in the future, he mentioned sports because he likes sports. I think the women should also think of what kind of sport or activity do they do or they like to do, or share. Maybe it's something that's not so common. Maybe it's something that's more a traditional, I don't know, sport or exercise, or I don't know. But they need, the women need to think about that too. Also, I was thinking that if you guys have a story, maybe say some, like Americans have nursery rhymes or stories that they learned as a child. So maybe there are some Native American stories, and you can begin with that, and then how does that story that you learned during childhood, how would it be viewed now as a teenager, or how did it help you to have a different insight because it's something that you grew up with, and how does it apply to now, to current times, I should say. I don't know if that makes sense. But the other thing I thought of is when the gentleman said he was interested in sports, I thought if there was something else like you want to learn how to build with tools so that you can, I don't know, make a clubhouse or learn how to fix things. Do you do that? Is that part of your something that's needed? Can you learn from that? Like they had, I don't know if they still have it, like wood shop in schools, in public schools. They don't have that. Okay, that's another thing. I mean, if that was something that they would like to learn. Or maybe you just take the girls, or when you have girls' day or girls' night out, what do you do to prepare for that? How is it for you? It's got to be a fun thing, besides, how do you fix your hair? How do you decide on what you're going to wear? Things like that.
Well, it's really interesting. We covered a lot of those topics in our summer program. I know even Genevieve was going to do a video on her father fixing a car, and how to change oil, something practical. We went through with them on how, we didn't film it, but we had like how to have a bank account and a checking account, how to apply have a resume, how to interview for a job, because these are all things that they said they had not had in school. Just even the counting of money. If you went to the store, it's like people are, they use credit cards so much, or banking is banking is becoming electronic. No one knows how to fill out a check.
Count change like regular money.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you used to give change and then count backwards to give them what they were supposed to receive? Do they even know that? Kids don't know that. People that work in stores, they just go by whatever the number is that they punched in on the computer.
Yeah.
But they don't understand.
They're not thinking about how to add and subtract and all of that. So that's it. Yeah, that concerns me. That's why a lot of those topics we did in our summer program are what do you do if you get arrested? God, I hope that none of these kids get arrested, but we covered that. Who do you call? What do you do?
I like the idea of the young lady with her dad teaching her how to change the oil. So why can't you take that concept a little bit further and all of you learn how to change a tire? What if you're out there, you have a car and you get a flat tire? Are you going to know what to do, or do you have to stop and wait for somebody to come and help you learn how to help yourself? Yeah. A girl could learn how to change a tire, change the oil, be aware of, how do you change the windshield wipers? Do some basic things, because it will help you down the road with your life.
Exactly. Those are all the things that they need to learn. It would be good for them to learn.
Couple more questions from our online viewers. I've been watching Reservation Dogs like everyone else. What other Native TV or films or filmmakers or even TikTokers do you recommend for people to support or to learn more?
You get any guys saw any TikTokers or films that you liked?
She knows it. What's his name? The dude that be on the skateboard. The native dude. The only one that you know on TikTok.
Dogface Dog or Dogface, something like that. He's the one who became popular on TikTok with that skateboarding.
Well, there's this one dude on TikTok that me and my mom had seen, and it's Dogface. I think that's his name. I don't know. Don't come at me if it's wrong. But yeah, we had seen him on TikTok, and it's just like some videos where he's just riding a skateboard. Was he drinking cranberry juice or something like that? It was just funny, and
I know what
we
you're
had
talking
seen,
about.
and I'd seen him, and I'm like, oh, this dude looks native, and we looked into his account, and you seen it just a whole bunch of American Indian stuff. So, I mean, that's at least one person.
I like to add something too. I know the video that you're talking about with the guy skiing with the drinking the cranberry juice, and on TikTok once in a while, I would see like Native Americans post, like young adolescents, young adults posting with like their regalia on and going out and dancing in powwow. So I really like seeing those kinds of videos because then I know there's more of us out there, you know.
Okay, so also just one more thing, like if I'm ever on Instagram or something, like go through suggested, and like now more recently I've been seeing like more Native American people that are like being like honored or in sports. Like I think it was in the NHL where it's like these two hockey players, they're Native American, and they're covering their story or something. Or I'm going on Instagram and I see like there's hoopers that are Native American and they're actually nice, and I'm like, oh, they know how to ball, so I'm like, I tap in with them. So
Have you guys found more Native Americans on the social media that you look at?
I've seen some Native Americans on my For You page on TikTok, and they also like show off their regalia and their beads, and they also like show themselves dancing.
On TikTok, I usually see like some natives getting ready to dance at powwows and just showing us how they put on the regalia and how they dance at the end. I don't see any, but my grandma does, and it's like this guy, he's talking about how the natives used to, like, how they were in the olden days.
One of my favorite recent Instagrams was of an older woman, older than myself, who was dancing to like an old 60s rock and roll song. And I didn't see it as funny. I mean, it was kind of funny, but what was interesting to me is that is exactly how my mom used to dance in our living room, and we used to all laugh, and we couldn't believe it. We'd be so embarrassed, that our mother was like dancing, like rock music in our living room. But that's how she danced, and this one was talking about how it's good exercise. Dancing, no matter when you do it or how you do it, is really good exercise. And today it's good for your heart and good for your muscles. And so it was really, and I love any kind of Instagrams that show older people dancing, whether it's ballroom dancing, or sometimes there'll be funny ones where people will come out and they'll be like in walkers and everything, and then all of a sudden they throw their walker to the side, and then they start cutting up, right? I mean, I love videos with a surprise. Like that's why on Melanie, where she'll like say something and then she'll go, like, I shouldn't have said that, or she'll make a funny hand movement that adds the humor. You might even be talking about a really serious subject, and so and we got to see those. I guess in old days they would call them things like bloopers on television, where someone didn't mean to say something, so they cut it out. Well, we have a lot of that kind of footage, and we all enjoyed when things like that, when it happened, and so it was we do like to bring that humor into what we're doing as well. Kind of, you were saying that we don't want to do all serious topics. Though I am after this young man to do a video about his experience in bike riding in Chicago. I think his mother said he has been hit by a car 4 times. So yeah, I mean, and he doesn't, but it mostly, it's as I want to talk about really the cars, and that people in Chicago, if we're going to have bike lanes and if we're going to have bicycle riders, we have to be more careful. People need to really watch out for pedestrians and for bike riders, and I don't think that's happening. So I wanted him to put in his 2 cents about it. Was there some reason you don't want to do that?
Huh?
You think people would like to see it?
Okay. Okay, let me kind of take over. So, okay, let me talk about the incidents first. So, first one, First one, I was just like, I was going down Devon and some car, I was going like I was on the sidewalk, cause like if you've ever been down Devon, it's packed that you can't even go on the bike. And I'm riding down the sidewalk and this car just pulls out the alley right away. Like he's pulling out the alley and he's accelerating and he pulls out basically into the street, like past the sidewalk, and I got hit on like my back tire and I flew off. And he stopped for like, he got out his car and he was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "No." I'm like, "Can you come here?" And he seen that I got up, like he seen that I was getting up and got back in his car, drove off. And that's like kind of most of the incidents, like most of the incidents that happen, I've never actually had somebody stop and get out their car, like to actually come check up on me. And except the one time that I had broken my collarbone, and it's because I like kind of like flipped over on the bike and I landed on my shoulder. And I was just sitting down with my bike, and I had this dude come up to me and he's like, "Are you okay? Do you need me to move your bag, your stuff? Like do you need me to call the ambulance or anything?" I'm like, I already called the ambulance. I already called my mom. I'm like, "Just grab my bag if you can, but thank you." But I do wear a helmet, but I got hit last time and it just like it flung off. And when I I didn't knock out, but like when I got back up, I just couldn't find it. So that is something that I have to get. But I feel like people would want to know about bike safety, like, because there's a lot of bikers, especially like around like the lake and just like the trails and stuff that they have. I see a lot of bikers, and I feel like just knowing more about them, knowing more about them is gonna help people keep them safe. You know, like there's not gonna be so many more incidents like this. And about her. I'm gonna film the video soon, hopefully tonight or tomorrow, so she doesn't have to be on me about that no more.
I think that's a great idea. You should take that way far, because riding on the bike path starts from all the way up north, goes all the way south, and that would be like an adventure. You can pause at different places, and here's this historical park, and here's when you go around the museums, here's on 32nd Street. It goes all the way to Indiana. So it would be an entire adventure.
A bike path adventure movie. That sounds great.
Yeah, that would put a more fun twist on it rather than. Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, I think we have one more virtual question from our virtual viewer, which is a good one to end on. What are some other good organizations for people to learn more about Chicago's Native community, and how can people support your organization?
Good question. There are about 17 other American Indian programs and organizations in Chicago. You can find them on the internet by Googling either American Indian Chicago or Native American Chicago. And we're the largest youth organization, and so if you would like to support us, we'll be doing, I think, a Giving Tuesday event soon, and watch for our GoFundMes. Also, one of the things I do a lot of talking about data and Native people in Chicago, and most Indian people live in urban areas today. Over 75% live in urban areas like Chicago. There's a lot of history, and that's a whole nother program about that, how that occurred. But now most live in cities, and so but all the funding for education, healthcare, all of that almost all of it is given to reservations, where less than 30% of the people live. So that's when what I ask to students, though, when I go to universities and talk, is I say, ask about the data. When you see a Tribune article, a Sun-Times article, a TV show on Channel 11, say, where's the Native Americans? Where's the data about them? Because this is our country. This is the only country we've ever lived in. We have nowhere else to go. And so, but our history has been eliminated. We're invisible. It has been distorted. So we don't have the writers. We don't, I want all these kids to go to graduate school. I want them to write books. I want them to make movies. I want them to be on television. I want them to tell our story. As that woman said, the stories we have to tell them, or we will continue to disappear into history. So that's my dream, that will continue in the future. And I think that social media has really brought us forward in that. We're seeing examples of, like, we're saying, you know, the kids are seeing examples of leaders, of heroes. We didn't have those growing up. We didn't know about them. We only knew about the people at our kitchen table. You know, there wasn't one book in my household. There wasn't one. I got my first camera, though, from the cereal box tops when I was a kid, from, I don't know, Kellogg's or Cheerios or something. But, you know, that's how I got my first camera. But then film was so expensive to develop. We didn't have money to develop film. So it wasn't until I came to Chicago and I got my first professional camera and learned about photography and filmmaking. And, you know, it was here that I learned about all of that, television and radio. And had I stayed in my little small town in Minneapolis, I don't think that I would have ever learned about that. So Chicago has given me a lot of opportunities, and all of our youth have a lot of opportunities here. It's a tough town, but it's so full of fantastic opportunities. You can do so much. Just got to find the right people to help you, and you can work hard. You just have to work really hard at what you want to do. Let's give the youth a hand.
And thank you so much. One more time for the Native Media Dream Team. Thank you so much to the American Indian Association, our partners on this program and several others. I want to remind you there are hundreds of programs related to